Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. It's your boy Jay. And if you didn't know, past Saturday, Money in the Bank rolled in. I got off work at 3 p.m. I went just waiting. That shit started at 6. I tuned in. The first match was the men's ladder match, which was, I got the match card pulled up. It was LA Knight, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, Andrade, which he came back if y'all didn't know, or if you don't even keep up. Carmelo Hayes, honestly, he's irrelevant as fuck. He came from NXT. I don't really give a fuck about that shit. And Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre won that. And I was honestly surprised, but not at the same time. Because bro's been bitching. I wanted so bad Jey Uso or LA Knight to win. Jey Uso had that shit on the tip of his fingers. And then this motherfucking Scottish ass motherfucker threw a fucking ladder at him like a javelin. And he won that shit. Overall, and Andrade did a ladder spot with Carmelo Hayes. Like, little callback to 5 years ago? Last time he did a Money in the Bank with Finn Balor, where he did a sunset flip powerbomb onto another ladder from the big ladder. And that was pretty good. And then Carmelo Hayes as well. He did a spot from what he did in NXT, which he also had a ladder match for a year or two ago, where he had Andrade ready for a crossbody or something. Basically, there was a ladder in the middle of the ring, and Andrade caught his ass while he was on the ropes ready to rebound. And he got his ass. He basically did a reverse Spanish fly onto the ladder. That callback too. Those were back-to-back callbacks. That shit was fire. All in all, I'll rate that. The first match, I'll rate it a solid 7. It was a solid 7. On to the next match. Let me pull up the next fucking card. What is this? The Intercontinental Championship match. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, the nephew of Rick Steiner. It was a good match, honestly. It was good. It was fast paced. The spots were good too. That knee strike, that Braun Breaker did on Sami when he was running to hit him with the fucking haluva kick, that shit was clean as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't really that high impact as the ladder match, obviously. But I'll give that one a solid 7.5. That was a good match. Let's see the next on my script there. The World Heavyweight Championship match with Damian Priest and Seth freaking Rollins. That match was so good. The fucking ref botched the fuck out of that shit. Because there was this one second, they were going back and forth. Because on his the moveset for Seth Rollins, it's he does a superplex. He rolls over. Does it a Falcon Arrow. Damian reversed that. He tried to do his own Falcon Arrow, but Rollins reversed it and he hit it. He hit the Falcon Arrow. He went for the pin, right? And then the ref was just 1, 2. Damian did not kick out, and the ref stopped that shit still. I was literally that fucking. I was just ref, that was 3. What the fuck are you doing? And then Drew McIntyre showed up with the fucking briefcase, made it a triple threat match. And then CM Punk came out of nowhere from the crowd. beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre. He hit him with the belt. Damian hit his South of Heaven choke slam on Drew McIntyre. Oh, also the stipulation for that match was if Seth Rollins loses, he won't get another shot at the title as long as Damian Priest is champion. And if Damian lost, he would leave Judgment Day. That was the stipulation for that match. And fucking Damian retained thanks to CM Punk. So after the match, CM Punk was just like crisscross applesauce, right, on the announce table. Then Seth Rollins came from the side. Of course, he's pissed because he was basically collateral damage. He can't challenge Damian for the championship no more. So, of course, he's right. And plus, Seth hates Punk in real life. So, that gives him enough reason, a lot more reason to hate him. That was a good match. I'll give it a 9. Moving on to the women's ladder match. Let me remind myself who the fuck was in that bitch. Okay, Zoe Stark, Io Sky, my favorite female wrestler, Tiffany Stratton, racist that, Naomi, Lyra Valkyria, and Chelsea Green. Chelsea was the crowd favorite, all right, because she's from Canada. The Money in the Bank was in Canada, so she was the fan favorite to win. It was a good match, honestly. I did like the spots. It was so funny too because Chelsea Green has a fear of heights. So every time she went for the ladder, she kind of like pussed out at the end and then got her ass whooped. And then at the end though, by the end, she was gonna go for the ladder. She overcame her fear of heights because she was full of adrenaline. She had that shit on the tip of her fingers, and Tiffany Stratton pushed the ladder, and she went outside the ring through some tables. It was GG's for her. The winner was Tiffany Stratton. There was a spot too that Naomi did that was so good. So they had the two ladders here. Naomi is flexible as fuck, so she can do the splits. So she was doing the splits on the separate ladders. Zoe Stark came at her. She grabbed her, but Naomi flipped it over and did a DDT, which was so good too. And then the spot with Chelsea Green and Naomi too, where the spot with Chelsea Green and Naomi, where she hit her move, the Unpretty Her, which is basically like a kill switch from Christian. And she hit that shit on top of a ladder. She was good too. The one that was the icing on the fucking cake, I forgot who did it, but somebody, no, it was Io Sky, did a fucking Michinoku driver from the top of a ladder into another ladder to Zoe Stark. That shit was the creme de la creme, boy. That shit was a chef's kiss, my boy. I don't know how the fuck Zoe Stark survived that shit, but that shit was good as fuck. That match, Tiffany, I already said, no. Tiffany, I did say, right, that Tiffany Stratton won the championship, right? I don't know, I forgot, but boy, that shit was good as fuck. I'll give it a 9 as well. And now the final match. The New Bloodline. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. It was an alright match. The only thing I really did find like interesting was a Jacob Fatu finally competing in a WWE ring. If you don't know who Jacob Fatu is, Boy, you should look up his matches in MLW. That motherfucker is a beast. He calls himself the Samoan Werewolf. It's a good fucking reason too, cause that motherfucker, for his size, the shit that he can do, that shit will blow your mind. I ain't gonna lie. But it was a little bit. I was wondering how they're gonna get him across the border, because he has a criminal history. Before he went to became a wrestler, he did have a criminal background, but they pulled some strings, and they did that shit. I was honestly wasn't really excited for that match. I just wanted to see Jacob Fatu compete in the WWE ring for the first time, and boy, he did that shit. Kevin at the end, when Jacob Fatu came in, it was versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton hit him with his vintage draping DDT. He hit that shit on Jacob Fatu. That boy Fatu no-sold that bitch. He got back up. That motherfucker said, "Do you know who I am?" To Randy Orton, bro. To the apex predator of the WWE, the youngest world champion in history. He told that motherfucker, "Do you know who I am?" Boy, that shit was fire. And then towards the end, Kevin Owens was gonna hit Tama Tonga, or he was planning on hitting him with the move that he has not done in so long, the package pile driver. He had that boy set up for that shit. The ref was knocked out at this point, because of course. And then Tama Tonga's brother, Tonga Loa, came in through the ring, low blowed Kevin Owens, and then everything went to shit. Everybody was going everywhere. Bodies was flying. Solo Sikoa came in. He fucking hit that Samoan spike on Cody Rhodes. It was over. 1, 2, 3. And that match was alright. Apart from me not really being excited for the match, as soon as it happened, right? Just you could tell from the way I was explaining with Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton, it blew me away. I ain't gonna lie. So I'll give that match, the final match of the pay-per-view, an 8.5. Now for the overall pay-per-view, I'll give it an 8.5 as well. It was a good pay-per-view. Wasn't really that bad. At least I'm not a professional fucking what's it called? Reviewer for this shit. I'm just a fan that loves wrestling. Grew up watching that shit. Man, it was 8.5. 8.5. If you guys want to see more of these, right? Make sure leave a like. Comment what you thought if you watched Money in the Bank. Comment what you thought about it. And yeah, see you guys on the fucking next one. Adios.